Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Gotham. A review of my reviews, even not episode of Gotham. We are going to be reviewing episode 13 today, season 2, which aired last night on Channel 5. So we're back on. Sorry for last week. Obviously, we weren't here last week because Neighbours had a 10 PM special, which was part of their Hotel Death Trap storyline for the week, which was extremely devastating for long-term fans, even like myself, because we saw the death of two characters and also the departure of another of our beloved characters. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. Just a backtrack into Gotham, not to Gotham, into Neighbours. So yeah, just a quick spoiler alert as always, and because we have this natural light behind us, we don't need the artificial light, which is brilliant because we've actually got sunshine today and it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So let's, without further ado, let's get started on this week's Gotham review. Okay then, let's get straight into Gotham with Season 2, Episode 13 review. Now, last night's episode, where we shall start at the title, obviously, because it's the beginning of the episode, was called A Dead Man Feels No Cold. Ooh, a bit mysterious, a bit odd. I'm going to, as I said, discuss the title. Now, Mr. Freeze supposedly died, but he's back. And the fact that he has to be kept below freezing means that he should feel cold, but he doesn't. Because he said last night, I don't feel cold. Despite it being, I think it was minus 20 degrees in the room that he was in, so it's freezing for us, but for him it's the right temperature. Because that's what he needs to stay alive now. Because he froze himself, and he needs to stay cool to be basically alive. So yeah, I think that's what it is. Now, my 5 words are under, I have 4 words this week. My 4 words are reminiscent of Season 1. That's reminiscent of Season 1. Now, the reason why it's reminiscent of Season 1, you will see as I go through, you probably won't see as I go through, well, you might, but I'm going to explain now. We're at the beginning of, or they're kind of around the middle of Season 1, so kind of episodes 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I suppose, were fairly slow compared to the rest of the season. They were a lot slower. There wasn't as much storyline to kind of bolster it out and keep it going, storyline. Whereas that's because it's 22 episodes per season and that's a little bit, I don't know. There's not enough, but I just feel like they're doing that with episode 12 and 13 so far of season 2. And I hope it doesn't continue for too long because I was a little bit bored last night, to be honest. I really enjoyed the episode, but at some points I just thought it was a bit too slow, which is why it's reminiscent of season 1. So let's move on to the characters then, before we start dwelling on the whole episode as a whole. Let's zoom in first onto Jim Gordon. Now, it kind of continued from last episode with him in that he didn't have much character development. He did help Joel freeze to Arkham, however, where they were holding Nora. And the standoff with Freeze was really average. I feel like the standoff we've kind of been generically kind of expecting between Gordon and all of these villains was achieved with Galavan. It was achieved with Galavan, it's been achieved with Flamingo, it was achieved with Penguin in season 1, it's been achieved with Enigma, not really because we haven't really kind of seen much of Enigma over the last couple of episodes. But I think it's kind of, the standoff last night was a bit terrible really. I think there's not really a lot for him to do at the moment. Although the conversation that he had with Penguin in Arkham was really well acted, as always with them two. I always feel like them two act really well together. They kind of bring out they bring out the best in each other. On to Harvey Bullock was to look at next. Now, he was fairly average again this week as well. I just felt like there's just not enough. There's nothing original. All he kind of did was went on another stakeout. He just kind of went on another stakeout in Arkham, and that was about it. And he got trapped in the kind of door. He got trapped behind a door or behind a kind of metal gate, and forcing Gordon to go on ahead without him and the other 2 members of the, I think the 2 remaining members of the Strike Force that are still here from episode 4. They're still around and not really doing a lot. I just feel like it's a bit pointless really at the moment for Harvey to be in it at all. I mean, I was really excited when he came back into it in episode 2 and he finally joined the police force again, but I just feel like it's a bit pointless for him to be in it if he's not got anything to do. And similarly, Captain Barnes as well. He was in it for one scene. He did come up with the idea of putting Nora into Arkham to kind of bring Mr. Freeze or Victor Freeze, whatever you want to say, to Arkham. But it was a little bit. It was for that one scene. He could have he might as well have not bothered, and Jim could have had the idea or something. The character was actually in it. Now Leslie actually was in it a bit more last night. We had a bit more of a storyline from Leslie. She connected with Nora really well as a kind of patient doctor thing, because I think she realised that they had a lot in common by the fact that Nora was really kind of beating herself up that she saw Victor taking this path, but she didn't stop him from kind of becoming the monster or the villain that he'd become. And I think Leslie's worried that that's what's going to happen to Jim if she doesn't kind of step in. So I think we're seeing more of a character development for Leslie, which is really good, because I like seeing Leslie kind of developed. She did put the baby at risk by going with Mr. Freeze, and there was a great little bit with her, with Barbara in the infirmary, where she kind of was like grabbing her face and doing, saying whatever she said, but she did say "you bitch" to her, which I thought was quite good. I really like the fact that Barbara's still in a coma, and we don't know if she's going to wake up yet. It's still quite ooh, is she going to wake up? Well, I hope she does, because I really like the character of Barbara. I think she's a fantastic character, and Erin Richards is a fantastic actress. We also had Bruce, yeah, if we can get the words out, Bruce and Alfred. Now, the initial conversation with Leslie and Bruce, Bruce came across as really defensive, and I think that's a really interesting development, that we're starting to see this kind of character come out in him that's not quite innocent anymore, if that makes sense. He's not kind of the innocent 14-year-old that we saw at the beginning of season 1 who saw his parents get killed. He's starting to become a bit more dark, and I like that. In fact, I like that a lot. The scene with Alfred kind of brought out even further aggressive side to him, which I think is starting to go on the road to becoming Batman now, which is good, because we're starting to see these deep emotions that are coming down from inside of him and kind of coming out to what we've seen in previous Batman films and TV programs and whatever else that we've seen, and in comic books I suppose as well. If you've read it in the comic book, which I haven't, but I'm hoping to read some soon. I want to get some maybe. And the fact that he agreed to let Alfred kill M. Malone when they find him in real life was a lie. I want to know, will he do it himself? Will he be brave enough? Will he have the guts to do it? He did ask Selina to get him a gun, so maybe, I don't really know. It's a little bit of a speculationary thing for me at the moment, whether Bruce is going to kill him or not. Alfred, I think, was trying just to protect Bruce by finding him alone for him, but Bruce is kind of having none of it. He doesn't really want Alfred to get hurt again. I think Alfred's been hurt so many times by Reginald Payne in the first season, and also by Tabitha earlier on in the season. It's all kind of kicked off around Alfred, and it seems to be that he never had much luck. But I'm loving Alfred as kind of Bruce's father figure now. I think it's a really sweet relationship they've got going on, so I think it's good. On to Selina Kyle. Now, Selina Kyle was in it for one scene so that Bruce could ask her to get a gun. I still don't think it's enough for her. For a character like her, who had so much development kind of first half of season 2 and also at the end of season 1, they've just kind of gone backwards with her, almost to the very beginning of season 1 where we knew nothing about Selina. I just think we need more. Penguin as well. The mental torture in Arkham was well acted by Robin Lord Taylor. As always, I think he's such a fantastic actor. If you've watched the rest of my videos, you'll know how much I praise him. I think he's the main actor who makes that show for me. If he wasn't in it, I'm not sure I'd still be so on the edge of my seat every Penguin scene, because every scene where Penguin's in, I just want to know what's happening because I love him so much. I think he's my favourite character in both seasons so far. It's him, Nigma, and Theo Galavan. I think have been my 3 favourite characters, bar none. And it's always the villains. The good guys are always a bit boring, I think, apart from Harvey, which is he's funny. But the villains are so much more I don't know, there's so much more character. I assume it's because Gotham is more of an origin story of Gotham the city and the villains, not so much a Batman origin story, which was kind of Batman Begins, the part of the film one of the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, so it's kind of why. Back to the torture. The torture was quite horrific actually, it seemed to be quite horrible. And I like the fact that Strange was watching the conversation with him and Jim in Arkham, and that Penguin let slip about Jim killing Galavan. Well, that is exciting stuff, because what I want to know is, will Doctor Strange work or act on that, sorry? Will he go to the police and say, this is the man you want, this is what he's done, he's actually the murderer and you don't know about it? Do you know that one of your men has murdered Theo Galavan, the mayor of Gotham? Who knows? And kind of the little duck goose game they were playing in Arkham was quite interesting. I quite like that. It was a bit of a weird kind of going on in the background of Jim and Doctor Strange and Harvey and Lee and Miss Peabody and all that lot talking. It was quite good. So Doctor Strange, as I've already mentioned, he is torturing patients, or mentally torturing them, sorry. He's also performing dangerous experiments in Indian Hill, which we knew, but it's kind of been furthered by this exchange that he had with Mr. Freeze, where he gave him car keys to escape, and then he, in exchange for their car keys, gave him one of his canisters with his bringing back to life potion-y, contraption thing, whatever it is, it's in the test tube. The fact that he's brought Mr. Freeze back to life is extremely creepy, and it looks to me like he definitely has Theo Galavan in one of his kind of tubes that we saw at the end. But also, behind Theo Galavan, I didn't notice it until I watched somebody else's review yesterday. No, not yesterday, this morning even. Well, I just happened to glance over some read someone's review, and there was I had to rewatch the bit of the episode, the end bit, because it looks like just behind Theo Galavan there's a boy or a statue of a male with red hair or orange hair, which could mean that Jerome is in one of his tubes, in one of the giant test tubes as well, which means that we could be carrying on with the Joker storyline, which if we are, I am very excited for that, because that would be very, 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 very good, because I really enjoyed Jerome. As I said, Cameron Monaghan, something like that, is a fantastic actor. He's probably one of my favourite actors, child actors that I've ever seen on screen, really, because he's just a very, very good actor. So I'd like to see more of him. On to, finally then, Mr. Freeze himself. He was continuing freezing people to kind of perfect his formula, and also to get more liquid nitrogen from Ace Chemicals, which is the subdivision of Wayne Enterprises that makes the liquid nitrogen. He did take the bait and went to Indian Hill to rescue Nora, which kind of shows his love for her, which I think is really sweet. The relationship they've got between each other is really good. It's a nice relationship. He froze Nora, then she died, which is unfortunate obviously, but it kind of showed his humane side where he was really upset about that, and he froze himself hoping to die, but Doctor Strange has revived him. What I want to know is, did he want that? I don't think he did, to be honest. I think he wanted to die, but he didn't. Doctor Strange didn't allow him to die. And finally then, let's look at what Nora Freeze did last night. Now, she changed the cartridges on the freeze ray, so she died. But what I want to know is, the main question I want to know is, why did she die? Why did she want to die? Is it because she doesn't want to wake up and still have this illness, or what? We still don't really know what's wrong with her. We just knew that she had some kind of illness that Mr. Freeze or Victor was trying to save her from. But what it was and why she didn't want to live anymore was a mystery to me. But I think it was probably because she just didn't want to see the monster that her husband had become anymore, so she decided to switch cartridges and die instead, because that was more beneficial to what she wanted to do or whatever, you know, and it's kind of how the writers wrote it, so I can't really question that. So the absence of Nigma, Butch and Tabitha was annoying, because I feel like last night's episode could have used them quite well if we'd have had a second storyline starting to run alongside this kind of story arc that we've got with Mr. Freeze. I don't know if this story arc is going to continue. I hope it does, because I quite like Mr. Freeze. The actor for Victor is quite good, and now he's been turned into his more kind of White Walker-ish looking thing. If you watch Game of Thrones, you'll know what White Walkers are. If not, you have no idea. It's quite an interesting kind of experience to see Gotham going in a bit of a ghost, supernatural direction, which is good because I like that. I like dramas and stuff to have TV programs have multi-genres, not just one genre that they fit into. Yes, it's kind of now fantasy. It's more of a fantasy, action, drama. Plus now we've got a supernatural bit going on as well, so it's quite good. It's very good. So my overall conclusion then, the main episode itself, so kind of the whole leading up to the ending, was a bit slow, a little bit boring in places where it was just quite repetitive, I felt. But the ending was great. So the last scene between Dr. Hugo Strange, Miss Peabody, Penguin, and then when Dr. Strange went off to speak to Victor, or Mr. Freeze, we call him now. I thought that was brilliant. So my overall rating this week, I think it's the same as last week. It's on a 7 out of 10 because, as I said, it was slower. It was going to be a 6.5 out of 10, but the ending kind of raised the bar to 7. If the ending wasn't on there, it would have been a 6.5. It would have been my lowest score yet for Gotham, because I just felt like last episode was a little bit, I don't know, there was something not right about it. Which brings me to the end of my video and my review for this week. Sorry to end on a bit of a low note for this week, but I just have to kind of be honest with you guys and tell you what I feel about Gotham. So yeah, that was it for this week's review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. If you click on my channel page on the Downsy's Life bit on the description box down below, you can find my playlist of all my Gotham reviews. So that would be season 2, episode 1 through to 11. Then you've got the 12. You've got 2A, which is the Rise of the Villains, and then last week's episode, which was episode 12, and this week's episode, which is episode 13. You'll also find top 5 videos for my entertainment picks, which I did do another one of, and hopefully there's some more concert videos, which I'll be putting up hopefully today as well. I'm going to sort them out in a bit. So you'll have the Ellie Goulding one, and the 5 Seconds of Summer one, as well as the Adele one, which is already there, and the Joe Bonamassa and Fanny Tom one. Also my Florida videos are there in another playlist. Yeah, there's lots of videos you can go and watch, guys, if you kind of feel like you want to watch more of me and my family and my life and what goes on in my world. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you later. Bye!